Hey YouTube family, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well and staying safe. This is the final part of this question and answer session where we get to address certain questions in a bit to navigate the Canada Study Visa application. It is our joy that we've been able to address some pertinent aspects that could help you put your best foot forward. The goal is for you to find the process seamless and to join us in Canada as soon as you can. To our returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. And if you're new on this channel today, this is where we make study abroad, immigrating to Canada easy. Please click on the subscribe button and turn on the post notification. We will continue to find a way to bring you value for your time well spent on this channel. We appreciate you once again. Let's get on to the business of the day. Thank you. Speaking of my own province of New Brunswick, are you aware of an upcoming international in-person and virtual recruitment? Please stay tuned, go on gnb.ca, register for this event, and be sure to put your best foot forward. This video increases your knowledge on Canada Study Permit application. Let's watch this.
Letter to study, so you need to apply for a study permit to allow you to get a visa approved, then to travel to Canada to obtain your study permit at the port of entry in Canada. So focus on study permits, which is the reason you're applying. The good thing is international students are able to work 20 to 40 hours if you meet certain conditions. So depending on what the officer reviews and acting on behalf of the Minister for...
Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification so that you'll be the first to know.
Hello everyone, this is our last episode here on navigating your Canada student visa application, answering your questions. There is also an extension of proof of relationship question that we received here. One of it is still on the proof of relationship, can birth certificates or international passports suffice if no marriage certificate is available? Yeah, I know in some culture where you just get married in those times and there is no marriage certificate. Well, all you need to do is to go to the law court to swear to an affidavit establishing a marital relationship or spousal relationship between your father and your mother, and how that translates to the arrival of you as the baby and now as the child or the son or the man that is looking to travel to Canada. So how do you establish that relationship? You can go to the high courts to get an affidavit. Your parents, you can go there, they will have their passport. Then there will be a template at the court that you'll be able to use to establish that marital relationship. And based on that, you can now provide your birth certificates. You can also provide swear to another affidavit that they are your parents and they do not have marriage certificate, and now that you're going to study abroad, they are also reconfirming through your birth certificate that you are their child or you are their children. Okay, so I think that addresses that. We just want to really take this briefly because other questions just came in as a result of the last 3 episodes that we just shared. Now, when you look at if a marriage certificate is not available, okay, yeah. Then also you can also provide your family pictures, right? And when you're providing your family pictures, be sure to explain from left to right who is sitting on the left, who is sitting on the middle, who is sitting in the middle, and who is on the right, so that the officer will be able to put a face to your face as it reflects on the documentation. Okay, and which other one is this? Yeah, so still on sample of affidavit of financial support by the sponsor. So what will be the content of affidavit of financial support by the sponsor? The affidavit of financial support by the sponsor will detail who this person is. I am Olaito Onyembonha, residing at 587 XYZ Avenue, and I am writing to support my niece who is studying at New Brunswick Community College. I'm making this position as follows. So it is you providing the information of how much you have to sponsor this person, okay, how much you have paid already, where you're working, what documents you're providing, to support, this student. So on the affidavit, you're going to list how much you've paid, how much you're going to provide in addition to what you've paid, and where you're working and why you're making these commitments. Is this something that this person is going to be paying back, or is it like a gift? Those things are the components of the things that will be stated in there. If you're looking for a sample template, feel free to reach out to us, or if you already have a template, we can assist you review it, and then we can chip in a few cents on that. And then the last questions, proof of means of financial support. Yeah, well, it's almost the same thing as the things you're going to be repeating in the affidavit. Those are the things that will be there. And if you want to understand what that is, I would recommend that you watch the first episode of this Navigating Your Canada Student Visa Application series. We explain that in details. It's a 15-minute video, and we've explained that in details. Okay, I had a question here yesterday. Somebody was asking me, what are the documents to be used in applying for study permit? The fastest way to understanding the exact document is, first of all, to go on the Government of Canada website, Immigration and Refugee Citizenship. Just create your checklist. There's what we call Come to Canada tool. That is a question that you're going to like fill real time, that would help you to generate your checklist that you will use to create your account. Once you create that account, going through all the questions, right? There are some generic questions that would help you, that will help the system generate some of the major documents, the compulsory document that you must complete. On the other hand, there are some secondary documents that you must attach, like your education credentials, your O-levels, your offer of employment that shows if you have been working, your offer letter also from a designated learning institution. Okay, we're going to be doing a video on DLIs in Canada and the implication of being enrolled in a designated learning institution. So let me just put that down. That will be the next video, designated DLI video. I'm going to do that so that also helps people who are here to apply for study. So now, on the documents to be used in applying for study permit, everything we talked about today on some of these questions, as I explained some of it. So on the sponsorship side, you will need bank statements, you will need investment evidence, you will need proof of assets, you will need your proof of fund, you will need documentation that shows proof of relationship with your sponsor, with people that are sponsoring your education, even with your family, to establish the ties you have to an home country. You would also need letter from your employer validating that you've worked in this role. This is the amount you have. In the event that you're sponsoring yourself, you have your money. You want to be able to establish where the origin of your money is coming from. Your pay stub is one of the example of the documents you will need. Your Nigerian passport if you're a Nigerian, or your any official travel documents if you're from any country. You will need that as well. What else do you need? You would need affidavits, gift deed. Where is your money coming from? You will need all those things. You will need medical report. That would help establish if you're admissible to Canada or inadmissible on medical ground. You will need police background report if applicable to your country. You would need you would also need what else? You will need to fill all the immigration forms. You will need to fill that. You can need recommendation letters from people from the community. So many things that strengthens your application. Okay, we have, for our client that comes through the door, we have a detailed information of all that they need in terms of the kind of affidavits they will need. If your family is sponsoring you, if it is your husband, you need your marriage certificate. If it is your husband, you need the proof of where it's working. If it's the company that is sponsoring you, you need a resolution stating that at an XYZ meeting, board meeting, a resolution was passed, to provide 10 million naira or $10 million or $10,000, for your study over the next period of time, because the reason you're studying is something that we are highly vested in. So there are a lot of documentation, and that's why some of these things are generic. What applies to candidate A all may not apply to you. Okay, how can I strengthen? Is it compulsory to pay tuition before applying for study permit? I always recommend, if you have that tuition already sitting in your bank account, if you're from the country where your currency is struggling with dollar, or you're in a country where you're experiencing devaluation of your currency, I recommend you pay your tuition right off the bat. Like, pay everything, because you're not only saving yourself the stress, you're saving yourself the volatility that you could experience, and you lose more money in the process. Okay, so I always recommend you pay it up. I've seen situations where students only paid for NBCC 500, and the person showed the proof and she got in. So what works for Mr. A may not work for you, Miss B. So if you have the opportunity to pay your full tuition, please pay, because ultimately you will still pay it. And paying your tuition shows that you have that genuine intent. By implication, you just need to prove it. So your commitment to studying has made you to pay your school fees even before they ask for it. That means you're going above and beyond to establish that intent. Okay? So it is not compulsory. Some schools will tell you, yes, it is compulsory, you must pay it up. Financial college would make you, if your tuition is 15,000, they would even make you pay nothing less than 60%. Okay? So if you can pay, please pay. There's another question here, assistance with proof of fund. We don't do that. We do not do things that is not legitimate. Assistance with proof of fund is illegal. If you're thinking of that, I would advise you to back down. We don't do that here. We don't have an explanation for that. Okay? So, I think I've been able. Yeah, somebody asked again, lump sum. The aspect of lump sum was a bit addressed in one of the videos we've released previously. Lump sum, is it a good thing? Can it lead to refusal? Lump sum is a good thing. Lump sum is also questionable, and lump sum can lead to refusal. So you can see the three perspectives I've raised now. I am going to address that. Lump sum is a good thing. Lump sum is a good thing if you have like a property that you put up on sale because you're coming to school. You've already been, you bought that land so that you can appreciate for like you've been planning to come to Canada since 5 years ago. And you're like, instead of spending the money or keeping the money in the bank, let me buy a plot of land. And then over the 5 years, the land you bought for like 5 million, it has now appreciated and is now 15 million. So you've literally gained 10 million. So you can sell that land and then put that money in your bank. All you need to do to tell the officer, because you're not going to, for the Canadian study permit application, you're not going to be there in person. It is your application that is going to go speak with for you. So all you need to do is to prepare your best case that will put your best foot forward. So if you've sold a plot of land, right, all you need to do is to show all the documents from the day you purchase that land to the day you dispose of the land, and making sure that the dates that you received the inflow into your bank account is what is showing on the day the payment or the contract was sealed based on the payment terms. Please be very please pay attention based on the payment term, like the payment date versus how the money is reflecting in your account. So you can see that lump sum is good. Lump sum could be questionable when an officer just see, 10 million from Idara, 10 million from James, 5 million from Shola. What are you doing for James? Yesterday you got 10 million. Today you got from Idara. Last week you got from Shola. Just say, for goods. Are you selling spare parts? No. Are you in business? No. What are you doing? Lump sum without proof is the open gateway to a refusal. But a lump sum with proof, beyond reasonable doubt, is an assurance that the officer knows that truly you're coming to study. So, there is no wrong or right answer. Perspective matters. There is no wrong reason or right reason that you shouldn't go the way you think would lead you to the approval. Don't follow the other person because this other person is going to do this or he has done this in the past. That guarantees a visa, and then I'm going to do the same thing. Trust me, it is not the same officer who made decision on the previous case that's going to make yours. And there is a guidelines. There are guidelines that an average officer would follow, okay, before he or she makes a determination on whether to issue a visa or deny the visa. Okay, so lump sum is good, lump sum is questionable, and lump sum can lead to a refusal. I hope with these few points of mine, I've been able to convince that empowered study in Canada visa applicant that now I am ready to apply for my study permit. The process is easy if you can pay attention. If you can, yeah, I even recommend people to do it themselves if they can. Because the government of Canada has made available this information free on their website. But then the government of Canada, through the immigration department, also understands that this situation could be overwhelming. And that is why you need to engage. I'm not saying you must. You need, if the process is overwhelming for you, to engage the regulated Canadian immigration consultant whose background or bio you have investigated and the person's name is listed on the names of the approved regulated immigration consultants in good standing that can represent your interest, or even immigration lawyers. Immigration lawyers would represent your interest anywhere in the court and out of court and everywhere. The scope of the consultants is limited, but the immigration lawyer, even though their rates are high, they can also take your case. And some consultants right now, they can represent you in some aspects. We have seen some consultants that are going in through to the IRB to, support and assist their client. But what I'm saying is just make sure you engage the approved people who have been recognized and certified to represent you, so that it will not be a case of what I ordered versus what I received. I hope we don't receive disappointments, in a way that we literally invest in what we could have done better, but we invested in what even now led to our failure. I hope we don't do that. So, that being said, if you want to know my approved immigration number to practice as a regulated Canadian immigration consultant is R708702 or Lighton Yimpon. You can look me up. So I am a tested, trusted, and approved consultant, 5-star rated, to represent your need. If you cannot do it yourself, connect with us. We even have do-it-yourself consultation. If you cannot afford to retain our services from start to finish. Thank you so much for coming today. It's on this note that we wrap up our weekly edition. We're going to be making this a weekly edition. I pray I have the strength to address, depending on how massive the questions comes in, and then we can come back. Thanks once again. My name is Olaiton Onyeboa. I'm a New Brunswicker. I'm a Nigerian Canadian citizen. I am currently studying in the province of Ontario, and I will be back to my province in a few months. Thank you, everyone, and have a good one. Take care. Bye.
So don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification so that you'll be the first to know when we upload a new video. There are additional videos that I mentioned before that you can take advantage of on proof of fund, how to make up your document, how to calculate your proof of funds and all that. Just click on any of these buttons and you'll be able to watch those videos. Stay blessed and stay healthy.